Welcome, fellow last placers, to another episode of LPF Debrief, where we talk about TV shows, movies, and give our discussions and opinions and some Easter eggs. Ah, see, Chris, I nailed that one. That one was a good one. That one was a good one. So, if you guys enjoy our content, please hit the like button. We are doing a giveaway. We're going to do this stuff in the beginning so you guys can see it, because I know people complain saying they don't see it, whatever. But like, subscribe, do all that stuff. And we're doing a mouse giveaway, so please check that out. We just need 100 subscribers, and then we will give the details on the giveaway. So,
Also, we got to do better at this. Spoilers ahead. We always say it like halfway through the video, and we're like, "Oh yeah, spoilers." By the way, no, spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen this episode, do not continue from this point.
Yes, watch the episode first, and then. But if you don't care about spoilers, join us also.
Yeah.
Let's just do our beginning thing where we always shame Yendi for not watching this stuff. Shame. All right, we're getting into it.
All right.
Oh, episode 3 of What If is our discussion right now. We're going to talk about that. So basically, we just left episode 2, which was,
fantastic,
probably a lot of people's favorite and, very heartwarming. So I was really curious to see how they followed that up with. And I'm not going to lie, episode 3 was really good.
It was intense for me. I was just like, what?
It escalated really quick. And I think what they're doing a really good job at, honestly, is not telling us what these episodes are about, because I'm going into all of these episodes having no idea what to expect. So this episode basically tackles if the Avengers never actually assembled. Like if the Avengers never came about and we see some things that happen that caused this to happen. And then later on, we'll get into the details of what the villain was, which I thought they did a really good job at also. So basically this episode is, it's episode 3. It starts off with Nick Fury doing his thing, trying to recruit. And so Chris, I'll let you take it away. What did you think about the episode?
I love the episode. It got to the point where I was sitting on the couch. I was watching it with my dog and stuff like that. And it got to the point in the episode where I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. I'm like trying to grasp the situation. And, and as things were continuing, there was one point where I'm like yelling out, like, whenever it was specifically when Coulson runs in and sees Hawkeye on the ground and they turn him over and he's like, he's dead. At that point, I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I was like, what? I was freaking out, man. I was like, what's going on? What's happening here? So
it was crazy.
Yeah.
That whole sequence was intense.
Yeah, it was nuts, man. And the fact that they were like they were killing the event, like what if the Avengers never existed? By killing them, I was just like, man, this is something else. This is really intense. This is scary. This is like,
it's dark.
Yeah, I was just like, man, these are our only hope, and they're like getting knocked down completely. I thought the episode was fantastic. Nick Fury was great, but also I was very happy to see Coulson running around in the episode and getting a little bit more of the limelight. Because if you guys haven't seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he's fantastic in that. We all love him. Most people don't realize that he continued after when does he die in the movies?
He dies in the Avengers, in the first
Avengers. Okay, so but most people are like, oh, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., whatever, and you should definitely watch it. So yeah, but what'd you think of the episode?
Before we get in, if you're gonna watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., please skip the first 22 episodes. I know that sounds harsh, but
no, that's what I did. That's what I will attest to that, because I watched the first couple and I was like, and I fell off for the longest time. And by the time I jumped in, they were on season 3. Yeah. And Alan told me to start in the episode Turn. I will never forget that. That's where you start. If you care about backstory, go back if you want to, but you do not need it at all. Like they kind of throw it. They throw all that out the window. So start at Turn. And you will, I guarantee you will get hooked. I am a bad fan because I have not seen the last season yet. And it's only because I don't want it to end. So that's the only reason.
I feel you. I mean, that makes sense. That doesn't make you a bad fan. But yes, if you are going to go into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I tell everyone this. Please skip the first 22 episodes, because the first 22 episodes were very slow paced. They weren't tremendously needed, and they feel like fillers. But once you hit Turn, it coincides with the main Marvel part, a main Marvel move, and then that show really takes off and flourishes. But I thought the episode was fantastic. This episode was fantastic also. Like I said at the beginning, I was wondering how you would follow up, the T'Challa episode. So they did a really good job. They had a lot of references that they went back to and did some callbacks to. Like, as a comic book collector, a lot of people don't know that there was a prelude to the Avengers, which they came out with basically while Nick Fury was he was recruiting them, and basically it's like Fury's big week essentially, and that's where they got the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday thing from, like how they
Oh.
basically the because basically what happens is Thor, Hulk, and Iron Man 2 all happen at the same time. That's within a week in the Marvel, like it's within the same week. So that's why Nick Fury makes it to the end of Iron Man 2, and then by that time he had already done like his recruiting. That's why when he approaches Tony in this, he goes, I already know about your thing. Like, I already told you I'm a solo act. Like, you know what I mean? That's why all
That's
that happened.
crazy. I didn't know it was a whole. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense that it's a week. That's a
Yeah.
crazy ass week, man.
Exactly, which is why prelude episode, like comic book,
Yeah.
basically breaks it down to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like, oh, Monday this happened, Tuesday this happened. So it was like Fury's big week. So
I'll
I
have to
thought it
read
was a
that comic.
really good. Yeah, it was a really. It's actually free on. If you have Marvel Unlimited, it's
I
on
do.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so check that out, Marvel Unlimited. If you want to sponsor us, we're here. Anyway, so I think yeah, so that was a good callback. A lot of people don't know. Then Fury doing the whole thing with Natasha, I thought was cool. Like Natasha kind of being like, I know what your plan is, because he basically says the same thing that he says to Iron Man in which movie is it? In the Avengers, when he's like, the idea was to bring a group of remarkable people together, like after Coulson dies,
Yeah.
basically. And then she's like, yeah, I know, like, and like kind of waves off the speech. So we saw a lot of things that they also showed off again, like when he does meet up with Tony, the whole donut thing in Iron Man 2, like we got a animated version of that, so I thought it was cool. And I like when they do, I it's very interesting to me because like we went from episode 2 where we saw how much T'Challa changed the world, but like we also see this, how like being on Earth, kind of like the one thing like leading to another changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like that. I think it's cool that they do things like that, because like it feels like a very similar world, but yet we're still doing something really like different, because the whole Thor thing, right? The whole Thor thing with Thor is it was pretty and crazy, because it's the same exact conversation. He's like, we found it and I need you to come in here. But this time Nick is doing something different because Iron Man just died.
Yeah.
So because of that, it's kind of like, oh snap, like look how that little thing has now changed Nick Fury's focus on what he's doing, because now Natasha's under arrest, and then like, what I mean, he can't get to the to Mjolnir fast enough, like, so that whole plan changed a little bit.
And also the whole I did like how Coulson was the fanboy of the episode. So whenever Thor shows up and he's like,
Yeah.
white male,
Yeah.
luscious hair. He's like,
Yeah, he's like,
what?
man. Yeah, he's
He's
like,
like,
he I'm sorry, sir. He looks
he's like the hair's flawless. He's
yeah,
like,
his hair looks good. And then Clint going, hey, Coulson was right. His hair is amazing. So like, seeing things like that to me was so cool. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like Colston always being that character who is a fanboy, and he shows that off a little bit later when we get there too, when like the password thing,
Yeah.
right? So the whole thing where you're just like, oh, my password is this, because he's always loved Cap, even in
Says
Avengers, like
hashtag
yeah,
Steve Heart
yeah.
Steve or something like that.
Yeah, it was Steve Hart, Steve, like 0704, which is the day Captain America was born, because
Oh,
that's July 4th. So
wow.
yeah. Yeah, pretty interesting little things. And it was, if I don't know if this is true, but I don't remember when Avengers issue 4 came out, but Avengers issue 4 is the first appearance of Captain America. So that could also be why the '04 is there. But I think it is the July 4th thing. But anyway, yeah, so Natasha doing that. And then, I mean, the whole Clint, that's when I really was like, yo, what the hell's happening? Because like, I didn't even think to guess who it could be.
They completely threw it off. I was just like, whoa.
Yeah, the only time that I had the whole Clint thing happens when he, basically shoots the arrow. And that's a way to hurt Clint because Clint always prides himself on not missing, not like misfiring and things like that. So that would really psychologically hurt him. Like, you know what I mean? So it wasn't crazy to see him after they shoot Thor, you know what I mean? Because Thor is human at that point, which a lot of people like he can be penetrated in his skin because he technically isn't Thor in that moment. You know what I mean? So that's why
you mean Hulk?
People. No,
Oh
Thor.
wait, no, Thor. Yeah, you're good. My bad.
He can be penetrated at that point. Yeah, I mean, so that's why it's not like it wasn't weird that Thor just died, and
he
I know
took
a
him
lot
out
of people
super quick.
Yeah, because he technically doesn't have the power of Thor because he's not wielding Mjolnir.
Yeah,
or Stormbreaker or whatever gives him power essentially. You know what I mean? Because Thor can bleed, as we can see, and he can like be hurt. So that's why he did end up dying. And then, Clint has this whole monologue to think about what's going on and him misfiring and stuff like that. And this is where I kind of started to think. I personally thought it was going to be Ant-Man. Like, you know what I mean? And I thought that because this affected things differently, that maybe, he was not like this person was not going to be the same person, right? So I thought they would do that. But then as I thought later on in the episode, I was like, well, I don't really think it could be Ant-Man because I don't think they want to portray the characters to be bad, even though like the mainline characters. So I thought that it would be that, but I didn't think it was going to be Hank Pym. Like there was no way. Like, and it makes sense now in hindsight because he actually was the first person to have the yellow jacket costume.
Yeah,
like he was the first person to come up with that. So that, and then I loved what they showed at the end of the episode when they were just basically like, oh, like how he did it and like all the cool ways of getting at all the people. Because when we see Hulk, which
the
is
Hulk
also
one was rough. That was a rough death.
That one I'm glad they didn't show on screen because that would have looked awful.
Yeah,
like seeing that. I did love that they call back the Incredible Hulk, which there was a poll. There was people on Twitter talking like, "What's the worst movie, worst Marvel movie?" And a lot of people said the Incredible Hulk.
I did not see Thor Dark World in that thing at all. And I was like, what the hell?
Thor Dark World 2 is clearly the worst movie.
Yeah, and it was nobody said anything. I was like I'm probably guessing that you guys forgot because it was so bad.
I think a lot of people forgot because Ragnarok is so good.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They kind of like mesh that with the whole but Thor 2 was a disaster. Yeah. It was awful. Like there's nothing good about that movie besides anything that Tom Hiddleston was in. Besides that whole story, god awful. Like it's terrible. So I don't want to hear it about no Incredible Hulk. I don't think it's the best movie, but Incredible Hulk is actually a decent movie. It's somewhere in the middle of the pack for me. And maybe one day we'll do a list, of these things. So you guys can kind of get our Marvel rankings. I think that'd be a dope video.
Yeah.
And then, so I did like that they did the callbacks to that. If you remember when Natasha sees the pizza thing, that was actually Bruce Banner's disguise. He had that hat on in the Incredible Hulk. So the fact that they kind of made that like they're still pulling back for that.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said it's been so long since I've seen that movie because in that moment I thought it was when she confronts her, right? And you see that she's acting kind of sketchy and everything like that. I'm like, oh shoot, is it her? And then like I'm thinking whenever she's like looking at the cover, she's like, I think I just found him. I thought a body was gonna fall out. I did not think he was gonna poke his head out and be like, hey, like I was just like, oh my god, I thought he was dead already. Like I thought she was about to take him out. So yeah.
Well, and then he comes out saying the whole thing that he actually tells Natasha in Avengers when he's like, there's no need for violence, like, and then he was like, are you gonna kill me in the Avengers? And like obviously he was like, obviously that's not gonna work for anyone. And then he kind of says, the same kind of line. So I thought they did cool stuff like that, like especially representing that movie, because I feel like a lot of people, like you said, I mean, a lot of people consider that movie to be really bad, and I don't think it's that bad, but I also think like it's nice to know that that was a continuity movie. Like it's still part of the universe, even though like they changed actors. So I think that was a nice way to be like, hey, these characters are part of it. And I didn't watch the Shang-Chi trailer, but I do know that Abomination makes an appearance in there. So it's kind of cool that they're still pulling from that. So hopefully everyone's the same and like Abomination's the same, because I think that's a really cool way of incorporating that movie, even if you change the actors. So because for a while it did feel like they just kind of threw that movie away, and now bringing like like Ross back and things like that, I feel like it's a good, a nice little nugget. So I think it's Go ahead.
I was gonna say, running into that next portion of I at another point I did think it was Loki after Thor died, and I was like, I don't know how he would pull it off, but okay. And then but when he showed up and he's like, I'm here for revenge, and I was like, oh snap, okay. So I like that he still had the whole, like, he still had his own agenda of what he wanted to do, but yet, like, hey, you killed my brother, right? And you can see that he already had that it felt like he already went through that feeling of like, well, I don't have somebody to, like, normally Thor's there fighting for Loki all the time, like, hey, like, you're great to me, like, you mean something to me, and now taking that out, it just seemed like Thor or Loki figured it out quicker, that is just like, hey man, like, you took somebody I loved, and this is like, now I'm pissed. So
yeah. And Loki, and that's just again with this Loki's character, because even though this is a different reality, there's still like the lead up to it is still the same, right? So this Loki still does love Thor, and it's still the Loki we essentially know, right? So even though when we've saw from the Loki series that love for Thor is always going to be there, right? So this Loki still has the love for Thor, even though this was before Avengers, where Loki actually is the reason why the Avengers technically become like assemble. So I think it was cool that it showed you how Loki's, like you said, Loki felt like, was like, hold on, I really do love like my brother, like that's, I'm gonna come fight for him, right? So I did think that was dope. I think that it was also dope that they threw the line in there, we don't bow here for anyone again, and the fact that that's like an ongoing joke is actually really funny. Like it's just one of those small moments in Endgame that people might not remember, but it's a cool thing because it's making its way throughout this whole like the whole universe still, and I think that's hilarious.
So
I did
go ahead.
think it was funny that once Thor died, when Thor did die, Loki does come back with the frost giant thing, which was revealed in Thor 2. So maybe he found out he was a frost giant earlier now because he came back with that. But
I was gonna ask you, how did you know from the jump that whenever Fury was at the gravesite that it was Loki, or did it, like, how long did it take you to realize?
honestly, I had no idea. Like, because let me tell you why. I was like, wait, I thought Fury just took the super soldier serum. Like, honestly, like I knew something was not right. Like, you know what I mean? I knew it wasn't like the Fury we know, because he's never moved like that.
Yeah, I thought
been able to move like
when
that.
he's throwing punches and he's dodging, right? I was like, oh, okay. But it's when he did the cartwheel in the air.
Yeah.
I was just like, that's not him. No chance this is him.
No, yeah, the thing is, I just thought it might have been like super soldier serum, or because I thought that maybe because the Avengers are gone, it made him do a drastic thing. Like, you know what I mean? The whole Loki allyship really didn't hit me until he did the split thing, and then I was like, okay, it's Loki. Like, but until that, like the whole fighting scene, I was just like, oh, okay, well, he might have had to take the super soldier serum, or some type of technology made him,
oh my god! And when that first initial fight happens and he goes small and then he just slaps him, he's literally like, no.
Yeah, I was like that, but that's what I'm saying though, because he would have seen, like, if he had taken the serum, he would have been able to do things like that. So I thought it was that. I also thought it was hilarious that scene when Hulk actually gets shot and they start shooting the thing and Natasha jumps out. She does her pose. and I just thought about Black Widow
Oh, did
because
she? I didn't see it
does her
happen.
pose.
Oh,
She 100% does the pose when she does the arm in the back thing, and I laughed at that moment
what
because I
is
can only
these?
think of I can only think of Florence Pugh doing the, you're fighting pole. You're totally a poser. So it was another great callback because she does it in every movie. So I thought that was funny. I thought, yeah, but like I said, with that whole scene, I had no idea until the multiplying thing. And then I was like, okay, it's got to be Loki now because there's no, like, he's just doing too much extraordinary stuff.
So where was
But also,
Steve in all of this? He's
well, Steve
not.
was still frozen
He is still
because,
frozen because whenever you see the shield, yeah, because that's what I was
Mhm.
asking, and
Yeah.
that's what I was wondering. I was just like, wait, is he still frozen in this time?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
They show that at the end.
yeah,
Because
he
remember,
wiped the shield, but I thought something happened. Like for some reason, it didn't click that that was the scene that they found him in. Like it
yeah,
was just like, okay, was there another fight here or something like
no,
that?
yeah,
So
he was
that's what I
still
thought.
frozen, and I like he was supposed to, like, you know what I mean. But like I said, with Tony not accepting it and things like that, the whole mission changed
Yeah,
from when Tony gets, actually dies. Also, a fun fact is that diner that he's in when after Natasha gets basically gets killed by, that's the same diner in Thor 1. So
oh,
yeah, so there was yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. I also enjoyed the callback to Miss Marvel because I thought that was dope where he had the beeper and he's just like, "Oh, I know what I have to do." Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And then he kind of like puts it away for a second cuz then he's like, "Oh
it
no." Like,
clicks. He's like, wait, no,
yeah,
I
he's
know what's
like,
going on. Yeah,
exactly. I also thought it was dope they did the destroyer that was in Thor was kind of like the guard.
hmm
That was cool to me. Yeah, and then we find out Hank Pym is the main villain, and again, left field did not see that coming, but then they made it make all sense with with his daughter dying.
yeah.
So he became vicious, and he became, you know, because he felt like Nick Fury was responsible for her death, and that will turn a hero into a villain. It's just one of those classic stories, but I think they did a really good job at masking that the whole time
It
because
was
again,
good. I did not know anything was going on
yeah,
until that reveal point.
yeah,
And I'm glad because I went on Instagram and I immediately saw a picture of him. Like
yeah,
somebody posted like, I can't believe it. And I was like, wow, so
right,
fast that I would have lost the whole like expectation. I'm so happy that I went
yeah,
into it, like I got to go into it blind to feel that and be lost the whole episode. Like you're learning
yeah.
as they're learning.
And
And
that's why I said
yeah.
I think the format of it is so good. Is like don't tell people what's going on. Just kind of like, and you know me being a person who doesn't watch trailers and things like that. I enjoy just watching and seeing those moments for the first time when I'm
Yeah.
in the movie or when I'm in the TV show. And that's one of the reasons why I don't want to do like trailer content, like because we could have totally just did the Spider-Man
Spider-Man 1
trailer.
and Dissect. I
But
think I'm going to watch it to be honest.
if you want to watch it, go ahead.
I
But
think
what
I've
I'm
been trying to
saying
avoid it, but I've seen so much of it now, and I've heard so much of it now that I'm just like, you know what? I might as well watch it because people won't shut up or get it out of my face.
I
So
mean, I just kind of block I've seen pictures, but also, I mean, 355 million views in 24 hours, which is
yeah,
insane, and which is what these trailers are becoming. And just to do a little sidetrack, the trailers are basically becoming a money thing because realistically, we don't. Um, you're not pulling in my personal opinion, and I don't know if this is true or how much it would be true. I would like to do like a poll or an audit or something like that to know how many people are going to watch some of these Marvel movies due to the trailer. Because I don't feel like that number is what people think it is, and people still have
nope,
that mindset of like because now you have to go out and watch trailers.
yeah,
It's not like it was back in the day where, oh, you saw a movie trailer on TV. It's like people don't watch TV the same
yep.
anymore. So how much of the audience are you actually grabbing that's new? Like, you know what I mean? And like I said, I don't have the numbers for that. I just think that's an interesting like
I honestly think that if they didn't show, say they didn't show the trailer at all, they're like, hey, you know what? We know the movie's good. You want to see it? Come to the theater. I
yeah,
know it would have been packed. It's going to be packed already for because it's
yeah,
Spider-Man. But
yeah,
if they didn't, I feel like it would have like those tickets for the
yeah.
next 3-4 days would have been sold out. Like people would be waiting to go see it to be the
All I
first one to see it. So they like
yeah.
it would be nuts, be
All I
crazy.
know is that when those tickets go on sale, I'm buying mine immediately.
Yeah,
Do not
yeah.
wait. to buy these Spider-Man tickets because it is during Christmas week and people are going to buy these tickets throughout that whole week. I'm telling you, you're not going to get a good seat. You're going to be in the front and you're going to be upset. But anyway, to go back
I
to
mean,
the
I sat on for the first Avengers movie. I sat on steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, they let us in. They were like, I mean, there's no seats, but if you want to sit on the floor, I was like, you damn right I'm sitting on the floor.
I'm watching this movie. But yeah, and then they had a nice and then to wrap the episode up, they did the nice hit Nick Fury swiping at the ice, showing the shield, saying welcome back Cap, and then it on being, Carol Danvers because she still wouldn't have been affected because all of this already happened, right?
Mhm.
It just made Nick call her sooner because remember, this is pretty much the end of the Avengers. Like, you know what I mean? Well, like the timeline would be this would be the end of Avengers 1 movie.
Yeah.
Instead of calling her for Endgame, he essentially calls her for this. So I thought that was a nice thing. And then Carol Danvers rocking the Carol Danvers look and doing the pose is, I'm about it. And I know a lot of people don't like that movie because they don't like Brie Larson for whatever reason, but
I need to rewatch
enjoyed
that movie. It's been a while for me.
I think it's fun. It's a fun movie.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't understand why people complain, man. I don't know. I like everything that, like, it's very, the only movie I gotta say I've never liked, right, was a movie called Home, and it was about an alien or something like that. It was like an animated film. Went with my little sister, and she hated it, and I thought the movie was boring. That's the only movie I've ever been upset. Every other movie that people are like, yeah, this movie sucked. I'm like, I find some. I just like movies. Like the new Star Wars trilogy and everything like that. There's people with problems with that. I'm like, I'm a fan of Star Wars, so I just like it. I like it. I get the problems, but at the same time, I'm not like, what's that?
I can go into reasons why I had issues with the Star Wars.
I know, but I'm not to the point where I just I'm never gonna watch that movie again. That movie's awful, and it's like, no, I'm gonna watch it again at some point.
I'm not. I'm gonna watch 7, but I won't watch 8 and 9 again. I just won't. But that's for another whole issue that we could talk about also. I mean, I feel like Chris and I could do a bunch of videos, so we'll probably work on a lot of those things. But I think that wraps it up for that. This we'll do it the same way we always do it. Chris, what was your favorite moment of this episode? Favorite
moment of the episode is actually there was no. It's probably going to be my background, to be honest, on my computer. There was no dialogue to it? No, I'll give one with dialogue.
Doesn't matter. Just pick your favorite thing was.
Well, okay, so I like that moment where they're driving across the desert and you see the silhouette of the Watcher. Looking down. I was like, this is sick. And I mean, I know they did it again throughout the episode, but that first initial thought, I was like, wow. I paused it there for a while because I was like taking. I was like, what a cool what a cool image. And then also probably the end fight scene with Fury and seeing him dodge and stuff like that. For that moment before he split apart, it was dope. It was really cool to see, and seeing him going like what, he's confused. He's like, wait, are you? And then he's like, no, I think he can fight. I think this is him. And like he keeps fighting him, and he's like, what's going on here? Like
lost. I was a fan of the Natasha scene in the truck because like it's funny because the people in the front were talking shit about her.
Oh yes.
He's like, oh well, this because no one ever expects it, and like she literally is just in there like pap, 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 she's just like whooping their ass back there, and it's like it's like 6 against 1, and she's like, and the way that the scene started to me was hilarious.
It's
like,
classic, man. I love those moments. Like, can you hold these? Yeah. Wait.
Like, and then it's like classic cartoons, and it just shows off this animation team is phenomenal because I really enjoy how the way that this looks, how they're shooting these shots, and I think that that's a credit to how well the animation is because you can see how nice like they look from like the whole body essentially looks so good that they can just work with so many different camera shots, and I think that was my favorite moment of this episode. So that's going to wrap it up for us. This is another episode of LPF Debrief. What if episode 3? We will be back again next week. Tuesday, we have the live show. Next week, we have... Oh, next week, is it already?
It's 2 episodes. Yeah. So we got Shang-Chi, and then we also have What If episode 4.
What If episode 4. So, so next week's going to be a big one with Shang-Chi. So we'll definitely do a video for that. That one you could expect I think. Well, so the What If episode will come out that Thursday.
Yeah,
We're
we
gonna
can
watch
make.
Shang-Chi. So Shang-Chi might come out Friday or
Yeah,
Saturday.
Friday
It'll
probably.
be Friday, but depending
We'll
on the
see.
time, because
Yeah,
that's gonna be a busy day. Because we're gonna shoot on Thursday for What If, and then watch the movie, and
yeah.
then
And
probably
Alan
talk
likes to
about
watch
it
the
on
movie
Friday.
3 or 4 times throughout the night. So yeah.
No. Listen, I'm not watching. I can't watch it 3 or 4 times. Because there wasn't enough, and that's because of the movies. Now, granted, I might watch it on Friday. We'll see, but we'll see. So definitely be on the lookout. Again, guys, please hit the like, share this, do all that stuff so that the YouTube algorithm can like us. We're doing a mouse giveaway, so tell your friends if they're into keyboards. If they built a new PC, tell them to join us on that so we could give this mouse away and do the things we like to do. So next week we'll be doing the LPF show 8 o'clock Eastern. And then we'll catch you guys next week on LPF Debrief. Until then, Fire Team out.